Miss Rita, and fellow students. Today, me, Phil Yong-Lo, Mei Ling Xiaoqi, Sheng Wenjun, and Xia Yufei will be talking about the topic of human trafficking. So, what is human trafficking? There are many cases around the world about human trafficking, but yet people do not know what this particular activity is. So this human trafficking is the recruitment of people and who are transported. They are transported by other humans by using threat, force, or deception, or payments to exploit them for their own purposes. And we all wonder, who does it affect? You might think that it might not affect me because I'm like fine or something, but it actually affects everyone. It affects children, it affects men, and it also affects women. And how is it categorized? There are a few different categories of human trafficking. The main sector of human trafficking is sexual exploitation, and followed up by forced labor and others. Others includes of organ harvesting or experimentation on the body. And the main causes that we have researched on led to three different things: poverty, greed, and the lack of education. So poverty, quoted by Mahatma Gandhi, says that it is the worst form of all violence. And in today's world, poverty can be divided into three different tiers. Tier 1, which is they follow the minimum standards of TVPA, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. Tier 2, the countries which are at not at minimum standards, but are making the effort to reach the minimum standards. And Tier 3, where they are not even trying to do anything about human trafficking. So here are some examples of the tiers around the world. So for example, you can see that Canada and Australia are Tier 1, then in Tier 2 is Malaysia and India, and for Tier 3 is Libya and Thailand. And now I'll pass it on to Mei.
As mentioned earlier by Gabriel in the global report of trafficking in person, about 53% of human trafficking victims are sexually abused, while another 40% are victims of forced labor. These forms of exploitation is happening right now in the world, and people are taken advantages by the human traffickers, mainly due to one reason, as mentioned by Gabriel, which is poverty, money. So we do know that money is important for us, for you and for me also. But when we compare the level or say the uses of money for people in the poverty regions and also the well-developed countries, money has very different value to them. For example, in this slide, you can see that there are three countries here. They are rated as the top three countries with extreme poverty. The first one is Malawi, followed by Burundi, and then Central African Republic. These three countries which are located in Africa are the countries that are experiencing a very extreme condition of poverty. And when we say about poverty reasons, why are these countries in poverty? These countries are experiencing some suffers that we might not really know about, like they have war in their countries, and for the consequences of war is infectious disease, death, and even leaving people homeless and shelterless. And because of these reasons, people living in these countries become desperate in need of money. They need money not just for survival, but also not just for survival themselves, but their family as well. So since when you are desperate in need of something, people will take advantage of you. These people are what we call as the human traffickers. They might offer them jobs or any opportunities, like deceive them. And as you wonder, this issue is not just happening internationally, which is just within our country. It's a global issue. It happens across various countries. For For internationally, like for example in India, India is a very big country, so it can happen from maybe this state there are more people. So when there's a large supply of people in this state, people will travel from this place to another place where maybe forced labor are more needed. Then what are we really concerned about is a global issue that happens internationally for over the decades. This international issue is that when you say international, that means it involves various countries. So for countries, they actually serve for three purposes. The first one is origin. Origin means that the source of human trafficking. In this case, it's not goods or service that we always do, it's human being. It's being transported, recruited, and then moved to another country. So another country can serve as a transit country. Transit country means as maybe like a midpoint of this whole process. And then later is the final destination, which is the place where people will be sold and the price will be marked at that place. So another reason that human trafficking cannot be entirely stopped is because of greed. So as said by Mahatma Gandhi himself, there is a sufficiency in the world for man's need, but not for man's greed. We all do agree that humans are greedy, we are born with greed. And as we try to rationalize our thinking or actions, we say that we have certain humanity in ourselves. We are kind and we are caring. But then there are always two sides to the story. There is good and then there is bad. So if we enhance on the bad part, then it might leave a very big impact to the surrounding. And in this case, we see about greed. Kevin Bills is one of founder of Free the Slaves, which is a non-governmental organization in America. The main target is to combat modern slavery. He's also an author, and in his book Disposable People, he mentioned how greed has driven people to an extreme level that they can do almost anything just to achieve what they want. In his book, he has written that new slavery has two chief characteristics. It's cheap and it's disposable. So I explained to you how cheap and disposable these human trafficking victims are being exploited by the traffickers. When you say about cheap, you can compare about the price of human nowadays with the past. Slavery has happened along for centuries, but now the human victims are very much cheaper compared to the past. Why are them getting cheaper and cheaper? It's because population is growing, and when the large amount of people is there, then they have a large supply. When you buy things in large amount, you'll be cheaper. So happens to the human trafficking. When they are purchased in a large amount, it becomes cheap. So when the entire process is cheap, human traffickers, or we call as the illegal businessmen, will take this advantage and disposable. Since victims are not taken care of, are not under concern of the human traffickers, in the process of recruiting, transporting, and then selling them, they don't care about these people. They are just for the use of, they're just using them, and then they can be disposed. If they, in the process, they get accident or killed, they wouldn't mind at all because they are not one of the concern under human traffickers. What they want is just money. So I would like to pass on to Feifei to talk about how greed has driven human trafficking.
People just don't care about their feelings and don't care about their life. They just like sell them and then sell them to get the profit, to get money, sell them with low price, and then don't even give them the shelter or food. And don't care about themselves, and then there's 150.2 million of illegal profit. This means they sell their organs and sell their body, like just sell the babies or sell the human. Then the next one is 99 billion from the sexual exploitation. Means they sell the women, most of them sell the women. Then the next one have 51 billion from forced labor. they sell the teenager for work, like they sell them to others for maid or the farm workers or something, and others, and then they still have 21 million of victims still suffering in this human trafficking. The next point of causes of human trafficking is lack of education. Nelson Mandela say that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. That means education is very important to us. If we don't have education, we don't have the job and we cannot get money. Then there's 57 million uneducated children around the world. Some countries have the lowest education. For example, India, Ethiopia, and Nigeria. In this country, there is a poor country, and then they don't have education, and then have many people still don't have a job. They cannot go to school, and it's a quite pity country. And that's all from me. I will pass it to Ranjan for Prima survivor.
Hello, as you can see, this lady right here, her name is Prima. Some bad things happened to her when she was young. She was kidnapped and she was exploited sexually. And eventually, she got pregnant. She got pregnant and she gave birth to a daughter. After that, she was rescued. After she was rescued, she told herself that she must educate her daughter so that her daughter will not follow her footsteps to become another victim of sexual abuse. This is what happened to her. After she was rescued, she quoted this: "I vow to educate my daughter well, so she will not follow my footsteps and become a victim of sexual abuse." So, education is actually very important so that we don't get manipulated by the human traffickers. So we will not increase the number of human trafficking. So, in conclusion, as you can see, these 3 points are actually connected to each other. Poverty and greed are connected. Why? Because when you are poor, you will be greedy. And you are greedy, that means you are willing to do anything to get money. This includes human trafficking. When you are poor and you lack of education, that means you don't know what's wrong and right, you just do it. So this includes human trafficking too. So when you are greedy and you are lack of education, it's almost the same. It also leads to human trafficking. So that's all about this slide. Thank you.